Welcome to the 2020 Opal Special Awards, an awards program that is different to the annual Opal Award. The prize winners of the Opal Special Awards are exclusively nominated by our jury panel. We ask our jury members to form a shortlist of developers, architects and interior designers who deserves special recognition and exposure for the outstanding and game-changing work they do in their field. In this presentation, we will announce the prize winner in the discipline of sustainability, who will receive the coveted Opal Trophy. At Opal, we feel it is our duty to reward and give exposure to firms that innovate and lead the way in sustainable building practices, firms who demonstrate that sustainability is an essential element in the way we design and build today and in the future. And without further ado, I pass the word to our jury member, ERIK Behrens, who will announce the prize winner in sustainability, followed by an interview. Please enjoy this presentation.
Hello, I'm ERIK Behrens. I'm an Opal jury member and creative director at AECOM. It's an honor for me to announce the 2020 Opal Special Award for Sustainability, a prize awarded to an organization whose work has been game-changing and pushing the boundaries of sustainable building practices. This year's award goes to TRANSSOLAR. I'm proud to welcome MATTHIAS, SCHULER, Thomas AUER, VOLKMAR, BLEICHER, STEFAN, HOLST and ERIK OLSEN. Congratulations. Thomas, you invented climate engineering, and this is a new consulting discipline.
Yeah, indeed. Climate engineering for us was like an artificial word combining Klima, the German word Klima, with engineering. But it stands basically for environmental quality. So for us, it was putting people into the focus in architectural design. That was the basic idea behind it. And we felt like it's very important to integrate this thinking about environmental quality into this process of synthesizing architecture so that it becomes integral part of an architectural approach and not something added on later in the process. So it's less about technology, even though we are engineers and it's an engineering company and it's an engineering scope, but it's less about technology. It's much more about this integration into the composition of architectural design, putting a focus on passive strategies so that technology really becomes supplemental.
VOLKMAR, you provide climate engineering without providing the conventional MEP scope?
Yeah, that is a good question, which we ask ourselves from the very beginning. We do projects all over the world, and it is evident everywhere that there is understanding, knowledge, cooperation, and the will to implement, but also that there is not. This can be a problem and lead to unsatisfactory results. This was a reason why we founded the General Planning Office TRANSPLAN a few years ago, where we offer all services of climate engineer, MEP and building physics, partially of course with external offices as subcontractors, as our capacities would be far from sufficient. This allows us to ensure the implementation of our conceptual ideas to a certain extent, and it has a further advantage that TRANSSOLAR's employees can better evaluate the possibilities and the requirements of technical systems themselves. And this is certainly also an important aspect for the future of TRANSSOLAR and TRANSPLAN, because an innovative concept needs a corresponding implementation in reality. Only in this way we can also achieve the sustainable goals globally and save our planet. No more and no less. Thanks.
Stefan, TRANSSOLAR became the partner of choice for many architects around the world, and you embedded your thinking in some of the most iconic architecture projects.
Yeah, that's right. We have been working as design climate engineers for over 25 years now. And over that time, I think we have actually became the partner of architects because they trust our integrative thinking and our integration of ideas into their design projects. And I think the main point of that is that we believe that architectural design and sustainability are the same thing, and they need to be integratively handled. And we, with our climate engineering concepts, support the architecture and integrate it into a sustainable and well received building concept, or even wider than that, master plans, cities, and all those ranges. So I think engineering these concepts is one thing, and a lot of people do that, but I think our quality is, once we have very many individuals in the company, I think much more than a lot of other companies of our size. So there's variety. People are very passionate about their concepts and the idea we support, and they tend to follow through. So what we actually trying to do is not only be concept engineers, but go the whole process of engineering these concepts through and bring them to realization, because our biggest asset, I think, is that we have very many good building examples to show, and to show that technology alone was not the answer. It was an integrative design approach, and these buildings work well and have happy people inside of them. So I think this is the key, that very many people and very many architects came back to us and do the second, third, fourth project with us, same with clients. And I think the expertise, the variety of people, and the passion are the key elements for that.
Erik, what is your vision of the future, and how will TRANSSOLAR evolve and innovate in the years to come?
I think it's important to first focus on what won't change, which would be in particular our focus on innovation, and really the purpose of TRANSSOLAR as a company to support projects and people who are looking to do something new, and something new around people, their experience relative to a place, and how the indoor and outdoor environment respond to that place, and then how that impacts energy use and carbon emissions. And as a company, how we accomplish that, especially through our entrepreneurial and democratic culture. I'm very hopeful that all of those things will remain the same. The things that I expect we will be moving toward in the future is, first, impacting new markets in order to have a greater impact for positive change in our work. For example, in the States, accessing more commercial projects, which have historically had lower interest in these types of activities, and working with new types of partners, because historically so much of our partnerships are depending upon relationships with architects, and that can evolve to have strong relationships with other types of partners that help us have greater impact in our work. I also expect more diversity in our own leadership, which will help us remain innovative in the future. And then lastly, to just talk about a couple of areas of the content of our work, two areas that are only growing and I expect to continue in the future are the idea of sufficiency, what is really necessary within the environments we're creating. For example, really defining deliberately the spectrum of indoors to outdoors, and where do different spaces want to lie on that. We're seeing that growing, and it's only going to continue to grow. And also the intersection of high tech and low tech, which has really emerged in our work in the last few years, by which I mean that a lot of high tech, such as ubiquitous sensors, automation, other technologies like that, which have become so much less expensive, have made it possible to implement the traditional low tech passive technologies that we've really been pursuing for the last nearly 30 years now. And that intersection only makes it easier. Of course, I'm sure there's lots more topics that we can't even imagine that will emerge in the future as well.
Matthias, talking about your origins, sustainability is not just a buzzword for you. It is a fundamental necessity and belief. I read that you used to tie yourself to train tracks to protest the expansion of nuclear power program in Germany.
Yes, that's right. We were protesting against the political ideas after the first oil crisis to serve the German energy market more and more with nuclear power, without any idea on the political side how to handle the nuclear waste. We are still in this tradition today by supporting and joining our kids on the Friday for Future protests. Coming from research, we had learned in international science projects on sustainable buildings that a key for a good project is a collaboration of all the disciplines from the first minute in an integrated design process, as a sustainable concept is not an add-on, but a core strategy. We think a holistic building or city concept approach for a better comfort and a smaller footprint in energy and carbon has to be a part of the architectural language. That's how we became the architects whisperers, as our competitors name us today.